Renovating a vintage Stuart 10H engine. Part 3. The thicker gaskets cause a problem with the slide valve. This was easily rectified by very slightly enlarging the slots in the body of the valve in order to allow more movement. It is the steam pressure that holds the slide valve on the ports, not physical mechanical pressure. The new gasket also needed trimming internally. On the screen at the moment are the original gaskets, and these really weren't serviceable at all. They were a bit raggy and a bit split, and would have been very likely to leak had I fitted them on the engine. This is a bit of a déjà vu. Once again, I need to remove the steam chest cover and the pin that holds the eccentric rod to the valve fork. This is a very small fixing. I don't usually use things this size. In fact, I don't have any 8BA hexagon head bolts. Once again, I remove all of the 7BA nuts from the steam chest, using a 7BA socket just held in the extension bar. And to remove the washers without dropping them on the floor, I'm using my telescopic magnet, as shown in the previous episode. Here are the fittings on the bench, and the next time I fit them, everything will be okay. Here's the slide valve, and the centre drive block is quite free, but the valve itself doesn't seem to have much movement, although the main culprit for causing the valve to blow was the fact that I did not trim the internal part of the gasket as well as I could have done. You can see as I'm pulling the slide valve out of the steam chest, the gasket's in the way. The tolerances on this engine are extremely fine, unlike the modern versions. Using this magnified image, if you look inside the steam chest, you can see how the gasket is a bit too wide. And to be honest, this was what was lifting the valve off the port face. But nevertheless, I'm still going to build in a little bit more tolerance than there is, so I'm using a needle file to elongate the slot, just to allow the slide valve to lift off the port. Apologies for the paint on the fingers, I've been doing some more painting of parts for the Land Rover. Before refitting the valve assembly into the engine, I'm giving it a squirt of WD-40 to just blast away any metal particles from the filing process. The fitting of the valve rod is quite dissimilar to the way it's done on the modern version. It's only threaded part of the way down, and you run out of thread and actually tighten it onto the block. This is a good way of doing it, but the standard of engineering needs to be quite high. Finally, using a screwdriver, I tighten the valve fork into position, and it's moving very freely, so everything should be okay. And now at a very high speed, to avoid excessive boredom and the risk of falling into a coma, I'm refitting the steam chest cover. First of all with the socket, and then as before, I use a small spanner just to nip up the nuts. And for the umpteenth time, do not over-tighten the fixings on small engines. I attach the airline and turn on some compressed air, and the standard of the running quality is much higher than in the previous episode. There is one tiny leak on the gland on the steam inlet, but once this is tightened, because don't forget this mechanism is dummy, that's the plan anyway. Here you can see the little tiny piece of gasket material that was causing the problem. I cut it off using the Stanley knife. In this clip I fitted the levers that go between the governor and the valve, which isn't present, on the steam inlet unit. And here, using a small spanner, I'm tightening the gland fully so it doesn't leak. In this part of the clip, I'm opening the valve on the displacement lubricator to drain this horrible mixture of very old steam oil and water. I will refill the lubricator with new steam oil when the time comes to do the steam test. For the moment, I'm just wiping up the mess off the bench. What I'm doing here, using the handle of a toothbrush and a cloth, is a little bit of cleaning in the corners where I can't really get to. I don't want to repaint this engine because it would kill the patina, but I do want it to be a bit cleaner than it is. The Score engine had a complete rebuild because it was badly made, so I had to paint that. But this looks just fine as it is. And just for the record, the paint colour seems to be LMS Crimson Lake. But really I think the charm of this engine is the way it currently is. And the fact that it runs beautifully is just a bonus. I look forward to fitting all of these engines into 3 very high quality steam plants. I'm going to conclude this episode with some slow motion. So that's it for now. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.